Spain after local authorities banned Muslim festivals like Eid from public facilities.
Hi, welcome to the Dixon's View. On this video, we shall be watching the action of the Spanish people who have decided to ban the celebration of Islamic festivals in Spain. Let's watch this video together.
Part of Spain has done it, but will we ever see Muslim celebrations banned in parts of Britain? It's time for that to head. Well, it's kicked off a little bit in Spain after local authorities banned Muslim festivals like Eid from public facilities. Well, the Conservative-led local council over there says that events, quote, alien to our identity, can't use civic spaces. Obviously, some people are calling it Islamophobic and discriminatory, etc. Muslim leaders say that they're being singled out, while opposition parties say it risks dividing communities. But the decision marks a first in Spain and a potential legal flashpoint as well. It got me thinking, do you think we'd ever see anything like that in Britain? Well, I'm joined now by the former chairman of the Conservative Muslim Forum, Mohammed Amin, and journalist and commentator Khadija Khan. Thank you very much. Khadija, I'll start with you. Well, do you think we could ever see anything like that in Britain? Would it be okay, do you think, if anyone tried to introduce that in Britain?
Thank you so much for having me. It's not about what I personally like or dislike. It's about the legitimate concerns. And when we have majority consensus, then such prohibition should be in place, especially when these rituals and these traditions, religious festivals are unnecessary and not required by our religion, and such prohibitions do not curtail religious freedoms. Given that what happened in Spain, Spanish Town, is not racist or Islamophobic, as the leader of the Conservative People's Party is that the mayor does not single anyone out for their beliefs. Yes, a fringe element of the far-right Folks Party praise it for banning Islamic celebration because they want to keep the Christian outlook of their town intact. This is something called theocratic attitude, which is prevalent in Muslim culture. This is why we see certain section of Muslim communities in the West flexing their muscles, occupying public places and using their gatherings as a show of strength, and the local people feel threatened by the growing influence of another religion. So why it is racism and Islamophobia when this happens in Spain and claimed by a far-right element, but all fine and fair when Muslim fundamentalists do it, and they do it with impunity? The bottom line should be keep religion out of political and social sphere. Be consistent when you are talking about hyper manifestation of religiosity.
OK, Mohammed Amin, I'll bring you in now. I mean, would it really be that bad if we decided to do something like that in Britain? I do think there are quite a few Muslim countries where Christians wouldn't be allowed to go out on the streets or dominate public buildings and pray and celebrate.
Well, first of all, I'm not here to talk about other Muslim majority countries. We can talk about some of them if you want later on, but I haven't prepared, not looked at them. What I'm interested in is our country, Britain. Now, we have an established church, which is the Church of England. The Church of England does not want other religions to be treated as second class or downtrodden. It's perfectly normal for local authorities to rent out premises that they own to community groups, to religious groups, to hold all kinds of events and festivals. When the Pope came to Manchester, I think it was about 40 years ago, there was a massive open-air mass held in a public park, and everybody was fine with that. All that I require is that all religions are treated equally and fairly, rather than discrimination against one religion, namely mine.
OK, so you would view this as being discrimination, because I'll come back to Khadija in a minute, but I think Khadija's view is that really it was a democratic decision made by whoever's in charge in that particular town at that time, having been elected by the people of that area. So should the desires of the Islamic community in that area trump democracy?
I've read the story in The Guardian about that town in Spain, and what that town has decided to do is to treat one religion, namely Islam, worse than another religion, Christianity. And that is wrong. It's also against the Spanish Constitution, and I expect it to be overturned in Spanish courts.
Okay, all right. Khadija, I suppose at its core, if we take it what they've said at face value, which is I haven't got the exact quote in front of me now, but it was along the lines of we don't want these practices that are alien to our own. I think they use that similar sort of phrase to that, i.e. they are a Catholic country. And they obviously feel in that particular area that the only real public building celebrations should be for Catholicism. Do they have a right to do that? I mean, in this country we talk about being a Christian country, but I suppose we're not really anymore, are we?
But we see that this kind of attitude is prevalent, as I said, in Muslim-majority country. And as I was looking at the headlines with such lauded words such as outrage, anti-immigration, racism, Islamophobia, these words have been used to report a piece of information that a Spanish town has voted to prohibit the use of municipal buildings such as sports centers and civic halls for events marking Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. It is deliberately made, I think, all about an attack on Islam or an attack on Muslims without having a nuanced discussion on it. Muslims in Morocco will abstain from the animal sacrifice ritual. And the reasons are the deepening economic hardship and agriculture crisis. And this ritual is very important on the occasion of Eid. And in 2024, Tajikistan has prohibited religious celebration in public places. The reasons are to preserve local culture, prevent superstition and fanaticism, curb extravagance in celebrations, elevate the spirituality of the Tajik people, and protect the rights and freedoms of children, fostering their education in the spirit of humanism and patriotism. Not to mention that Tajikistan's population is 98% Muslim. So my concern is when these discussions on such topics have long been debated within Islamic tradition in Muslim majority countries, why can't we have these discussions in constructive manner in Western secular democratic countries without descending into whatabouteries? There has been, Patrick, I don't know why we don't discuss these things here. There has been a reckoning and awakening in Muslim majority countries when it comes to counter religious fanaticism, while we are still refusing to drag ourselves out of this all is well utopian world where everything is fine as long as it is politically correct.
Well, okay, fine. And I'll give you a final word to you on this, Mohammed. Obviously, anything you want to come back to on that, but I'm just going to pick up on something that Khadija, I think, alluded to earlier, which is that maybe sometimes these very public and mass demonstrations and celebrations in very public areas are not necessarily just about the religious festival itself. It could be seen as a show of force or cultural dominance.
That's nonsense. I've attended open-air prayers occasionally in parks. It's there because it's a large number of people and they want to get together and pray. If other people get upset by seeing large numbers of Muslims together praying, then it's those other people that have got a problem.
Okay.
And it's the same goes for the other side. And I want to emphasize on one thing, that there is no Islamic commandment that insists on celebrating these religious festivals in public places. In fact, such lavish festivals, meals, iftar or Eid parties are deemed to be innovation in Islam. Muslims have been instructed through and through to focus on charity, which is zakat, during the month of Ramadan or on the occasions of Eid. I think that is the most important thing, that Muslims they are instructed to do so.
From the lady's analysis and her explanation so far, that the essence of this is not to enhance or support Islamophobia as they allege, but the essence is to curb fanatism, and extremism to their society, because they are in a country where people should be free enough. And coupled with the fact that Spain is a Christian country, is a country where Catholicism is practiced in full. So why do you try to bring your religious festival when you know your religion is not compatible with their way of life, their own religious belief? You try to make it so open in public places. They believe the essence of the government doing this is to make sure that in any way push up extremism or religious fanaticism, Islamic fanaticism in their society. Everywhere you see them, even in the middle of the road, a busy road, a public road, you just see some group of people just come out in the name of being religious and block the road while practicing their religious ritual. It's not okay. And I think other countries will have to emulate what Spain has done. Without these actions, these measures, there will be a problem. There will be problem, because from this stage, coming out to practice your religious ritual publicly without minding if it is offensive to the others who are playing host, who are majority, just as it is in other countries like Syria, Iran, Iraq, and even Saudi Arabia, UAE, where you don't see Christians openly, practicing their faith and rituals, and you want to do that in other Christian countries, even be arguing the fact that it is your right or see it as an attack on your religion. It will be very necessary. Some of other Western countries have to learn and take similar action to save their country from extremism and other form of attack that will emanate from there. And these are my thoughts and my views, and I will really want to know what are your thoughts and your views as well in the comment section. See you in our next video. Bye.